Hi, it's Steffi with Steffi's Beads and Baubles, and I wanted to show you how to take a couple of very pretty designer pieces that are pretty much not worth anything and make a new piece of jewelry. And right here is an Ann Taylor, which I cannot find any comps on anything similar, but most of her stuff only goes for about 10 bucks. And you can see the quality in these tassels and this gorgeous Rollo chain. And then this is a Robert Rose, and it's not worth anything, even though some of his stuff sells for quite a bit. And I think I paid a few bucks for this at the antique store. So I thought I could harvest a few of the prettier beads, rechain them onto silver head pins, and we'll take apart everything and put it back together, making a pair of earrings and a small tassel pendant. I thought that would be a lot of fun, and let's see what we can do. I'm going to take a break for a second and get everything set up, and I'll be right back. Okay, let's start by taking this piece apart. Now, of course, since I'm going to redesign a piece, we are not going to leave the Ann Taylor on this because that would be false advertising. It was an Ann Taylor piece, but will not be one anymore. It'll just have elements of Ann Taylor. But sometimes you just have to decide that some pieces, I've got a couple very expensive, well, supposedly expensive brands that have been listed for a long time and never sold. So sometimes you just have to decide it's not worth it and do something else with it, especially if it's beautiful. Now, I could probably put it somewhere and sell it for $5, but I really love tassel jewelry, and I thought it'd be fun. I got to take that off so I can slide the chain out of the pendant. And then I'm going to put this jump ring right back on so that we don't lose it. It's always fun hooking it right back onto that tiny little chain. Hold on. This is Rollo chain, which if you've watched me for a while, you know this is my very favorite chain in the world. Okay, this is giving me some trouble. I know it'll fit because it was on there before. Okay, hold on. I'm not going to make you watch this. After thinking about it, I realized that it probably wasn't a good idea to take it off just to possibly have to put it on again. Now, I am trying to understand why this is so dark when I have a ring light and another light right over top of it. It just seems a little dark in here. Hold on. Let me try a couple settings. This is stupid. I don't know. Maybe that'll be better. Let's try that. Watch the light fall on it. Okay, let's try this again. So what we're going to do is we're not going to put that back on yet because I thought about it and that does seem kind of dumb since we'll probably have to take it off again to slide the new pendant on. So we're going to take these little charms, beautiful tassels. They just feel good in your hand. They're nice quality. And we're going to remove them from the big Rollo chunk here. I'll leave them open. Again, you don't want to open and close something too many times. So once you have it open, leave it open till you're ready to hook it permanently. Now what I decided I wanted to do is make 2 earrings and then a pendant. But I would like to have a bead on top. So what I thought I would do is pick a couple of these gorgeous, they're plastic, but they're Robert Rose, so they're nice quality. This is also a gold Rollo chain. But I don't want to mix gold and silver. See, here's the Robert Rose tag on this one. And I've checked and checked, and I maybe could sell it for $5, and honestly, that's not worth it. So you got to decide what color you want to do. I don't like flat beads because they flip around. I'd rather use a round. So my choice is really between pink and orange. And I think I'm going to use, if I have 3 of these, or at least 2 of these, this size, I'm going to use the pink And I guess I'll use the same one for the pendant. I could do this. This is what I think I'll do. Do 2 of the little ones and the big one for the pendant. I think that would look better. So this is going to be easy. I'm simply going to take my wire cutters, put the flush side up, cut. Find another one. And for those of you cringing, seriously, this is at best a $5 necklace, and I would rather make something fun out of it. And I think I paid $5 for it, thinking it, because I looked up Robert Rose and it looked like his stuff was valuable. Well, I didn't have time to do a detailed. I'm going to keep this jump ring too. I don't know which one will be. Well, that's oval. Okay. So then what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to take one of these and I'm going to put that on there like that. Well, I guess I didn't have to leave that open. Then I'm going to take my rounding. Now you can use the ones that are just round on both sides. I'm going to round this around like that. I'm going to cut it. I like to round it so it goes kind of down in the hole like that. Then, since this is already open, I don't have to open the loop pin, so then I'll open that and close it. Make sure I get it closed all the way, because it was on a pretty thick Rolo chain, so it didn't have to be perfect. And then that's what the earring will look like. Now, if I was just going to use any piece of jewelry, I'd probably find something fancier, but I kind of wanted to show you what you could do with pieces that you can find. And this type, even if it's not Robert Rose, you can find this type of jewelry all the time at yard sales, estate sales, and even antique stores for $5 and under. And you can make a lot of jewelry out of that piece. I mean, there's a lot I can do with that. Oh, I just messed that one up. Look at that. All right, that's fine. We'll just start over. I'll get a fresh one. I can use that for a bigger bead. Okay, let's start over. Okay, find one that looks good. Because, you know, I have these all in my little box, and they're different ones kind of mixed up together. So they're not always the same. They can be slightly different. Like this one might be a little thicker than the one I used on that one. But that's okay. That's okay. I don't think, we'll see if it matters. If it matters, then I'll later on, see, I'm just rolling it and tucking it in to the hole there. Now let's see if it really looks bad. Does that look really bad? I think it does. So there's a lesson learned there. Don't mix up your head pins. Make sure when you do your first piece that you get another one that's just the same thickness. So I don't mind when I make a mistake like that, because then I can show you what to look out for. All right, and that won't get wasted. I'll use the parts of it. So let's flip this one around and cut it. So I'm waiting for 3 big boxes of fabric, and when they come, we're going to do some unboxings, because my daughter and I are going to be selling lots of fabric. So that'll be on the side along with the jewelry, and I'll be still doing jewelry hauls whenever I can. If I can buy boxes, I will. See, that looks much better, and that matches that one. Might still be a tiny bit thicker, but much closer. And the way to prevent that is to keep them separate. And I've got 20 years worth. Oh, I just did that even though I didn't have to. I got 20 years worth of findings kind of all mixed together. I think it's time that I start separating them out. And when I get new ones, do not mix them in with the old ones. Now, what would happen if that broke? Well, this is probably held on a clump on a large ring inside here. You just have to redo it. Okay, so those are the 2 earrings. Now let's do the pendant. See how easy this is? Now that one is still bent too. This one doesn't matter. Now, had I been paying attention, I could have used that bigger one for the pendant. Then it wouldn't have mattered. But these are very pretty for plastic beads. Very, very nice. Now, I can lighten this video up a little bit when I'm uploading it and editing it, and I will do that. Now, you can make a slightly larger. We want it to fit over this chain. Now, I could hang it on here and hang a couple beads on it if I wanted to. I just think that would be too much. But that is another option. But I will save this, and that's what I'll use it for, is that type of a project. Whoa, this one pulled right through. Okay, wait a minute. That one was too thin. That was like bending. Oh boy. That's the problem. You find some, you want it just enough resistance that it doesn't just fall apart. That one just kind of crushed. Wow. I'll tell you, the same quality is not always available. Even when you replace with the same brand, sometimes it's not always the same. Okay, let's see. We got to get this down into the opening. Kind of round it out nice. And then get it there. Then I'll take the pliers and kind of do this, and then we'll hook the pendant on. These are very pretty. They have rhinestones. You know what? Now that I'm looking at it, I think these are gold, even though this is silver. And I think there might be gold and silver both. I don't know. Might be an optical illusion too. These might be silver and they just look gold. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Okay. There. There we go. Now we'll just simply string it back on. And then if I can't get it on here, my husband is amazingly good at hooking tiny things together. So let's see if I can find that jump ring where it went. There it is. Let's try this one more time. If I can't do it, I'll turn off the camera and get him to do it, because I'm telling you, it came out of that hole, but it does not want to go back in there. This is an extremely thick jump ring. I might have to do a smaller one. These pliers are magnetic on the bottom, on the tips. Okay, let's see if we can get this on there. Okay, I shall be right back. Okay, I knew he'd be able to do that. Now another thing, it took him a minute though. Another thing we can do is, this is so weird, why it's so dark. I'm serious, I have a light right here over top, a light here, an overhead light, and windows open all around me. It's so weird. Now another thing we can do is hang another bead right here if we want to. We can see what we want to, if we want to find another little one, or if we want to do a complementary one. Like, we don't have to do the same. There's like a little crystal that would be pretty. Crystal looking. I don't know if that's a real crystal. I think it's plastic. One way you can find out is rubbing them together. Oh, those are definitely plastic. Okay. But we could pick one, like that's an unusual one. Or we could just take the same bead again, or just not do it at all. I mean, there's several things you could do. You could put a charm on there. I think I'm just going to do this little one here, because that's kind of fun. Although that doesn't really match. I don't want to put the same one on again. Maybe this little round one we'll put on, just to have a little decoration. I like to put something on the clasp because sometimes it moves around. And then, now these are all loop pins, so we probably would want to use a head pin. But some people like to use the loop pin because they like the look of the little loop on the bottom. But since I have to get earring wires anyway, let me get the loop head pin and the ear wires. Okay, so this is what I mean by head pin. So these are looped, and you can use these to chain like I did on my last video when I made my bracelet. I made the spring bracelet. I linked them together using double loop and then making the loop on the other side. But when you're doing a flat bottom on it, you want a head bead. And it basically looks like a straight pin without a point. And you can get them little tiny as well. And I will reuse the other half of this. I keep them in my actual head pin box. I have the ones I cut so I can reuse them for small projects, because sometimes I will chain together very tiny beads. I've done it several times. You can do that to kind of make an actual beaded chain. Let's see, these little, sometimes the head pins can be pretty stiff and hard to maneuver. There you go. And then it seems stupid. You loop it and then you got to open it, or you can open the head pin, but we're not doing that, or we're not doing that. So we'll just reopen it. But I know it seems ridiculous. Why would you close it just to open it again? But it's easier to reclose. And you can decide which side you want to put it on. I usually put it on the clasp side so it's not in the way. See if it's opened big enough. It might not be. Let's see. And then I'm going to hook it. You can hook it on either one. I'll hook it on the bottom one, or that one on the big one, so we'll go with that. It's probably a better one anyway because it's bigger, and then it'll hang over the little one. That's probably a better idea anyway. And then it just gives a little extra decoration, and then that way, if you're wearing it and the clasp kind of slides around, let me show you, then it's got a little bead on it and it doesn't look so bad. We do that a lot when we make jewelry artists in general, when we use toggle clasps instead of this type of closure. But anyway, so there is that, and now we're going to put the ear wires on. Now, the same thing goes with the ear wires. If you have concerns about the ear wires breaking, then you can just simply open this up. Now, I would rather take a chance on the ear wire, because most of the time they will open just enough to slide on the earring without any trouble. Now, if they're really, really cheap, once in a while I'll lose one. But you can harvest the little spring and the little ball off of it, so not all is lost. We'll do the same thing on this one. Some of them, now that's funny, one of these open from the top and one of these open from the bottom, unless I wasn't paying attention. Because again, these are all kind of tossed together in a bin. Okay, so here's your earrings. Hope that one got twisted up. What in the world? Oh, there we go. I might have to work on that. It's a little kinked. And that might have been why the person got rid of it. Was that little kink, but we'll fix it, or we'll go way up top and remove it, one or the other. That is crazy. How could I not have noticed that? Let's see. Should be fixable. Alright, so we have a pair of earrings, which we'll have to fix that one, or I might just turn it to the back, turn the thing around, and then a necklace. And I think they turned out really cute. And then you still have all of these beads to do something fun with. And you got the great pendant, which you could, see it's already wire wrapped, so you could add something to the top of that. Maybe one of these beads, maybe the contrasting color, or a metal bead or something else, a stone bead. But this will make a lot, and this type of bracelet thing is neat because you can even take a swath of it like this and you can simply undo it. Because let's look at, if you have a big, depending on how wide your wrist is, if you take these two off, add a little bit more chain at the end, and then add a clasp, this makes a perfect looking bracelet. It's already done, you know, and you can see if there are any other patterns, or is that the only pattern? Looks like that's the main pattern, although there is this one too. But I think the other one looks more finished, so you could get at least one of those out. Now, if you check it out before you cut pieces off, you know, and it also depends on what you cut off as well. But you can definitely make at least a bracelet, maybe a couple bracelets. Like that one, I cut one off in the middle. That one I showed you, yeah, see, these are all the pieces I cut off. But why couldn't you make a pair of earrings out of something like this and then just take this off and hang one more bead at the bottom? So see, there's a lot you can do, and I'll probably put this aside and put it with the other spring beads that I made. In fact, let's do this bracelet real quick. Maybe we could do that. No, this video is too long. We'll do this bracelet on another video. I'll show you how to do that. Because I don't even know how long this thing is because I've had to cut out several times. But this is a fun way to use a couple high quality, good designer pieces to make your own custom piece of jewelry. Now, if you don't like plastic beads, you could use existing beads, but I was trying to use two pieces of jewelry I had that are really not worth selling right now. Let's do that so you can see it better. That aren't worth selling on their own. I maybe would get 5 for this if I sold it, 5 for that, which after fees I'd lose money. So why not have fun with it? And I want to make some more spring jewelry, so we'll definitely do that with this and some of the other beads. I got this whole box of beads that were left over on the tray from when I made that bracelet. So we'll do a few more spring pieces. I think that would be fun before summer gets here and we start doing some summer projects. But I hope you enjoyed this. It's a lot of fun, and this will be listed on Etsy. I will be putting this up for Etsy. I'm thinking somewhere around $18 for the set would be fair. Because the jewelry plus my time, I think that would be fair. So, and then whatever else I make. In fact, the bracelet I made on my last video will also be going up on Etsy. I have not done that yet. That is this piece here. And I will list that when I list this one. And here's a toggle clasp that we talked about. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. And thank you so much for watching. And I'll be back soon.